Round 18 is done, the results are in, and the People Squad finished pretty solidly at 1,012. I think we'll have to sort this out next year. We need a guy just to have access to the account just to do looping, because it definitely, personally for me, goes by the wayside. I don't believe Scoop's in there doing any looping either. So might need someone to take control of that one next year if we do happen to do the People Squad. But into 1258 overall, we have 2 trades remaining, which ends is a good little number to have, considering all the craziness of this round 19. And then we'll find out, obviously, in Teamless as well, what's going to happen there. 2 trades left, 55 or 54 in the bank, which is cool. But yeah, still a solid year overall, 1258, as I said there. And I think we can definitely make some strides here in round 19 coming up. And let's go through some of our numbers for it. Before we do that, let's go through a couple of the players. And Preston with the 50 there has just been great. And the reason we got over the 1,000 was because of Payne Haas and also Harry Grant. We had Lemuelu with the 24. Unfortunately, didn't loop in, I'd say, Sandon Smith over Dream Buller would have been the play. You would have, still expected a 30 or 40 from Buller. I think we did. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, that we could have potentially looped Buller out and played Sandon in there, but it wasn't to be. We just looped the Simkin in this one. Fisher Harris, the 40 was fine. Cook with the 30 off the bench, not nice at all, obviously there, but saved by guys like Preston, Haas, Grant, Drinkwater. Garrick was solid as well with the 47 there as well. So let's look towards round 19, and we will be slotting Hopgood straight in for Payne Haas, which is good. People Squad do not have Horsburgh, so that's helpful with this one. But Simkin will come in as our hooker for Harry Grant. So we're set up for hookers, mids, edges. Our half position is a lot of chat that Johnson's going to be gone, so likely is going to be just the Heinzie this week. And that one, unfortunately, we have Moses, Sandon Smith, and potentially Johnson out as well. And Ponga as well is going to be out if we can use him for wing fullback or half. So one half at the moment. Centers, we have Lemuelu in this one, so we'll definitely need another centre. And the wing fullbacks, we got Buller at this stage, and no one else. So we're missing 4 players, unfortunately. Well, let's say 4 with Johnson out, 3 if he does play. So probably 2 trades will need to be made just to get up to that 12, I'd imagine, here for the People Squad. And options we do have, obviously, if we do need that half, then it could be Brennan Hands could be one of those guys. We do have, obviously, another hooker in Simkin as well, but with Simkin likely to be in the team as a starter anyway for probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'd say there, around 19, 20, maybe 21 as well. He could be a guy that we eventually do move on if he does make some good cash. If he gets to about that 400, 430k mark, then he could be an upgrade or a downgrade option, which could be cool, and Hands could be that guy. So, that's probably the cheaper option heading into this week. There are others in that wing fullback slot that you could have and you could slot in fairly easily. Teams do have some of the cheaper guys at the moment. Whether you go for a Ronaldo Militalo, these types of players as well are potential options there as well. But that's the People Squad at the moment, and let's go to my team now, and then we'll get through all the rankings and the rest that we always get through. But really, it has been a fairly sort of up and down, pretty tough sort of month just to try and push through at the moment, because a lot of things haven't gone completely right, and we're still sitting in a solid position. The 996, it was a lot further down if we look at the sort of the Podcasters League and all the my other leagues there as well. That this was a fairly low score, probably 50 or so under par. That 1,030 odd, 1,040 probably would have held my ranks there. So 30, 40, 50 under par there. Some decent scorers for sure. Copping Turpin yesterday afternoon wasn't nice. Bringing in Papali'i to partner with Bateman, that game was really killer. There were a bunch of players that had Buller as an emergency and didn't have to play him, so that's a 15 there with 44 and 33 for IPAP and Bateman there. Wasn't super ideal. The mid section was great with DeBellin, Harris, and Horsburgh. Cook and Robson both being 50-point players, getting 38 and 36, not ideal. Val was a massive in for us, and Chance with a 31 to go along with Johnson, obviously. Wasn't great either there. So, a couple of standouts with Tedesco, Ponga. Ponga obviously owned by most. Same with Hines, same with DeBellin there. And Horsburgh very highly owned along with Drinkwater. So most of the really good scorers were the high owned guys, and the guys that were the point of difference guys in Turpins, Robsons and Cooks. So go along with IPAP and Bateman were the ones that kind of failed for us, which was a little bit painful there. Chandler's not super highly owned either, about 40%. So, Yeah, definitely. Looking into next week, there's a few things to think about there. We do have Chance. That was the other one I was thinking of for our wing fullbacks, and he's going to be very, very helpful this week. And I imagine the Warriors in some drier weather footy will be back to some of their best heading into this week. They do come up against Parramatta, and actually we're going to be without Gutho as well. Not sure how teams are going to be named, but did Junior Barlow get actually dropped? Potentially, if he did, Regan Campbell-Gillard's in Origin as well. So I think Warriors will have a much better game against the Eels. Probably a close one in that, and he should be able to score better. So him, Buller, and Blake Taaffe come into the starting side in the wing fullback position. My main issue this week is going to be hooker. So I was really hoping that Damien Cook wasn't going to make Origin, and we could play him in that one. Going into round 20, I'm going to have the 4 out at this point. So, Taaffe, Cook there, and Horsburgh. Actually, the trades, I didn't end up bringing in a guy that was going to be out in round 20. So we'll see what happens with Val Tafari, but actually, 3 out at this point, and could go one more with Cook and trade him out, so he's not going to be an issue for the side heading in for that week. I completely lie. We've got DeBellin, Horsburgh, Cook, and Taaffe. So we do have the 4 out, but I'm likely to be trading at least one of them. Either Taaffe in round 20. I'm looking to bring in Brendan Hand. So that would probably be for Turpin, I'd imagine, this week. If I do have to make a second trade to get a half in, then it would likely be Damien Cook, just because he would be out in round 20. He also misses a later bye round as well. And a couple of lower scores, has a fairly high break even. So he'd be the play just because he misses the next 2 and then one later on as well. And then likely I'd be upgrading Taaffe to anyone I want, really. I'd imagine in that round 20, whether that's a Dave Fafita style, a Payne Haas. These types of guys could really work out. Obviously, getting up near Cleary again would be cool. At this point, I'm holding Moses, Johnson, and Hines. So Cleary is not the highest priority, but some other positions like a Harry Grant potentially in the hooking position, or a Payne Haas or a Dave Fafita could be more of a priority heading into that round for sure. But we're very much hoping that Val Tafari, as I said, gets named in round 19 this week, tomorrow, and he can partner Bull Penasini. So that would mean wing fullback, centre is covered. Half won't be covered if Johnson's out, just the same as the People squad. Edge is covered there. The mids is going to be covered as well, because Hopgood can just go straight in for Horsburgh on that one, and short one hooker. So if Johnson doesn't play, I'm sitting at 11. I do have 2 trades remaining, and in a fairly solid position there with 227k, considering I went the cheaper route with Val Tafari, and thankfully for him, making a fair bit of cash. So if we're looking at my cheapies at the moment, if I'm bringing in Brendan Hands, that would give me 3 for this week in Taaffe, Val, and also Hands, and that's where the upgrade of Taaffe in round 20 would really, really serve me well, to be able to get back to that 2 sort of cheaper guys. And if Val can really lock in that spot, he played pretty solidly on the weekend. Obviously missed a couple of one-on-one tackles on Herbie. He didn't exactly miss them completely. He just got tackled. You tackled him over the line. Was probably more the issue on the issues defensively on the inside rather than himself. So let's just hope that that's the case, and I'm not being biased, and that his any defensive issues he has are going to continue to improve, and it's more the team's defense at the moment that is the big issue. So yeah, if he can keep that spot, then that would be cool. Then I'd have Val Tafari and Hands as someone, 2 guys that are cheapies and they're not going to take up too much bank for us. They could play for us on a week-to-week basis. Val's going to be that cover for centre mainly, but also the wing fullback. And then Hands can be the cover for the hooker and the halves, and he's going to play every game likely up until their bye in the last round, and that's going to be a round to think of as well, considering I have 4 of those guys with Moses, Penasini, Hopgood, and then it'll be Hands. So just being aware of that, probably having at least 1 trade coming into that last round, just to move on from one of them. I don't think we want to worry about that too much, because it is just going to be 1 round in the end, and if you do happen to score a little bit lower in just that 1 round, it's not going to be the end of the world. That is 4 out, and obviously, if we do have trades available at some point throughout those last few rounds, and there happens to be an injury or suspension, we could cover that, and we're not coming into it with all these guys are going to be on a bye in that last round, and then have other injuries and suspensions as well. So yeah, I think this week coming, we're going to be in a pretty solid position. I do see a lot of people that used it's hard to tell, actually. It's not coming up on footystatistics.com at the moment, but I hope that does update this week. It's still updated up to round 16. So that's that on that one. But from what I've heard, a lot of people have used their last trades, and with a couple of extra outs, Gutho being out, Kolomatangi, these types of players there, and then any outs from last week as well. and the week before that, guys are running out of trades, and it could be a really good week. If you have 12, if you have 13, you're definitely going to make ranks this week, unless they all, a lot of your pods have a shocker, but it's obviously unlikely week to week. I think you'll be making a few ranks coming up, which would be really, really cool. So let's head to the top rankers, and Nigel at 936 a week. I'm at 901 and I'm ranked 123. So he had a 988, and those that were close in that top few actually caught up a little bit. I hung out with Brenton on the weekend, so that was cool. He was into second at one point, but Ben ended up getting 1,039 and kept that secondary spot there. But those guys there made up about 50 points on Nigel this week, which is cool. So they're just sitting at 200 behind now, Ben is, and 220 or just below for Brenton, which is cool. Todd is there 50 behind Brenton with 1123. Wow, that's a massive score. Let's look at that one. That even includes Adam Finwell Blake. So Robson, Adam Finwell Blake, Feeder's 80, Hines 188, Drinkwater, Teddy, Ponga. Then we've got Boyd, Preston, Haas, Horsburgh on the bench. Yeah, okay, it's a lovely wing fullback. Teddy, Drinkwater, Ponga. I suppose I had that as well as my wing fullback. So, wow, crazy. So it's really the big difference was for Feeder. Played Lemuelu's 24. How did this person get to 11-23? So no Buller, no Turpin. I've had Turpin. It has Simpkin and also Sanders Smith in the emergency. So yeah, and Paynas, yeah. Shows how many a little bit of luck in there, but obviously didn't have Turpin at all, so missed out on some bunch of good scores. But not having to play Buller and having Ponga, Teddy, Drinkwater is really, really cool. So yeah, awesome score from Todd there. Jason 1,081. We have Jamie in there at 6. We need to find out where our legend of a Jamie Brown enjoyer is. We're going to find that. Rogue Waldo killing it, 21st overall. Let's see if we can scroll down. This is great content, guys. The Cossie. We got JBFA, Hayden in there. Jamie Brown enjoyer is not in the top 50, so that's all right. We'll get to that at another point. But that's the rankings at the moment. So what am I? 123, and I'm 630 behind first. So that's not ideal, but coming into 10th, 16,482. So I'm 250 away from 10th. So it's not ridiculous. I'd say like top 50 is realistic for myself, but past that, probably not on that front. Let's go to our leagues now and just finish this one off. So thank you for being here all this way, and I hope this is interesting enough for you at some point. So, as it gets to the end of the year, if we do have enough trades left, we should be able to have a decent crack at some of these head-to-heads as well. Coming third in the Gargarov, winning that one by 24 this week, which is cool. Run the Rudleys as well. I think I lost in the ham-to-head. I think it was 1,030 or 1,040 I got beat by, and won the Revenge of the Broncos too, which is cool. So, yeah, sitting in the top 4 for all of those, which is nice. Let's go to give a little shout-out to our private group guys, and Matt is in a really good position. Got 1,084 on the weekend, and really pushed hard into that top 38 is his ranking now. So I was hanging out with Maddie on the weekend as well, which was cool. So it was a top 100 party, and I unfortunately during that night was very much outside the top 100 and have maintained outside the 100. So a little bit frustrating, but that's all right. Lockie had a good week as well. He's very, very close to me now, 24 points behind. So the podcast boys are 123 and 153, which is very, very cool. Shout outs to Matt B, Will, Sam, Ryan, Mitchie, Brad, and also Johnny, Chrissy, and then Phil in there 11th. Little sneaky, all the other boys there, so which is cool. Let's go to the podcast league now as well, and then we'll finish this video off. So good stuff. As I said, I kind of got pumped a little bit in the podcaster group all the way down the 9th. They all got over 1,000 except for myself. So that 996 looks very lonely. Some massive scores from some of these boys. Eddie absolutely crushed it this week, 1107 with Grant Haas not having to play Turpin there at the end. Did play Buller, but didn't have to play Clockstad. Had Tarpany and Hawes. So yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. He had both of them, and they killed it. And that was beautiful as well. So yeah, Rogue Waldo, he's up at rank 21. Eddie's at 51 now. So yeah, massive weeks overall. 71 for Stuart. Three guys in the top 100. I've snuck out of that now, which is not good. Lockie's at 150. Mark's at 235. So pretty much overall, all the way to 10th. What are we? 697. So the top 10 out of 23 are in the top 700. So yeah, very, very good across the board for these guys. TK went well. Rob, our head boy, went well as well. So yeah, overall, not great for me. I think I'll make up a few this week. I definitely need to try and make up about 50 to 100 on these guys if I want to get closer to that top 3 again. Yeah, if I can make sort of 50 or so this week on like Eddie and Stuart, who are the closest to me, and be back within that 100 or back within sort of 60 or 70 there. That's going to be really, really cool. But that's the round results for the week, guys. I hope a big thank you to all the guys that are still watching. We do get trades next week coming into round 20, so I hope you're all excited for that, so you can stress about trades again and launch them. But that was the round results video. See you later.